I'm glad you're here with me as I continue to read the Bible using the New Heart English Bible Translation. In this episode, I read the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 22. Howdy, welcome to God's Adopted. I'm here to help encourage you to grow in faith through stories, teaching, and practical examples so you can experience more of God in and through your life. When we get born again, He adopts us. This podcast is here to encourage us all to grow in becoming the children of God He's adopted us to become. Join me and learn to do like Peter did. Let's get out of the boat and step on the water with Jesus. Matthew chapter 22. Jesus answered and spoke again in parables to them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is like a certain king who made a marriage feast for his son, and sent out his servants to call those who were invited to the marriage feast, but they would not come. Again he sent out other servants, saying, Tell those who are invited, Look, I have made ready my dinner. My cattle and my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready. Come to the marriage feast. But they made light of it, and went their ways, one to his own farm, another to his merchandise. And the rest grabbed his servants and treated them shamefully and killed them. The king was enraged. He sent his armies, destroyed those murderers, and burned their city. Then he said to his servants, The wedding is ready, but those who were invited weren't worthy. Go therefore to the intersections of the highways, and as many as you may find, invite to the marriage feast. And those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all they found, both bad and good, and the wedding was filled with those reclining. But when the king came in to see the guest, he saw there a man who did not have on wedding clothing. And he said to him, Friend, how did you come in here not wearing wedding clothing? He was speechless. Then the king said to the servants, Bind him hand and foot, and throw him into the outer darkness. There is where the weeping and grinding of teeth will be. For many are called, but few are chosen. Then the Pharisees went and took counsel how they might entrap him in his talk. They sent their disciples to him, along with the Herodians, saying, Teacher, we know you are honest, and teach the way of God in truth, no matter whom you teach, for you are not partial to anyone. Tell us, therefore, what do you think? Is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar or not? But Jesus perceived their wickedness and said, Why do you test me, you hypocrites? Show me the tax money. They brought to him a denarius. He asked them, Whose is the image and inscription? They said to him, Caesar's. Then he said to them, Give therefore to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. When they heard it, they were astonished and left him and went away. On that day Sadducees came to him, the ones saying that there is no resurrection, and they asked him, saying, Teacher, Moses said if a man dies having no children, his brother is to marry his wife and raise up offspring for his brother. Now there were with us 7 brothers. The first married and died, and having no offspring, left his wife to his brother. In like manner the second also, and the third, to the 7th. After them all the woman died. In the resurrection, therefore, whose wife will she be of the 7? For they all had her. But Jesus answered them, You are mistaken, not knowing the Scriptures, nor the power of God. For in the resurrection they neither marry, nor are given in marriage, but are like the angels in heaven. But concerning the resurrection of the dead, have you not read that which was spoken to you by God, saying, I am the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob? God is not the God of the dead, but of the living. When the crowds heard it, they were astonished at his teaching. But the Pharisees, when they heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, gathered themselves together. One of them, A law scholar asked him a question, testing him, "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" He said to them, "You are to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment. A second likewise is this: you are to love your neighbor as yourself. The whole law and the prophets depend on these two commandments." Now, while the Pharisees were gathered together, Jesus asked them a question, saying, "What do you think of the Christ? Whose son is he?" They said to him, "Of David." He said to them, "How then does David in the Spirit call him Lord, saying, 'The Lord said to my Lord, sit on my right hand until I make your enemies the footstool of your feet'? If then David calls him Lord, how is he his son?" No one was able to answer him a word, neither did anyone dare ask him any more questions from that day forth. I love seeing how our real living God is working in and through our real living lives in this real world. Please subscribe to this podcast and keep listening. If you've been blessed or encouraged in some way and want to leave a review, please do that by writing your review on iTunes. If you haven't already, please drop in and say howdy in our Facebook group when you can. See you next time on The Water with Jesus.